boys have had a Christmas break? Have they both pulled up from the Melbourne Derby and Christmas lunch? Is everybody ready to go against the Raw?
Yeah, we had to run them hard, get rid of the Christmas pudding. Yeah, no, everyone's fine. Everyone obviously had a really nice Christmas day. We were back in yesterday, and everyone's pulled up fine. Still a couple of boys that are sore after a pretty tough game on Saturday night. So, yep, go into our last little prep today, ready for the game with Brisbane.
Because it is a short turnaround, do you anticipate having to make any changes to your lineup because of that soreness in the short turnaround, or is it just going to be any changes will be tactical?
Any changes will be tactical. Correct, Joey. Everyone's a couple of the guys have probably a little bit extended soreness, but they all trained yesterday and trained well. So that's all fine. And there's probably going to be some tactical changes anyway. So we'll just finalise that tonight.
What do you make of? Sorry, Joey. I was just going to say, what do you make of Brisbane as opponents?
Yeah, very good. I think, obviously we know that Ross is gone, but I reckon he's really turned that team around in terms of the way they want to play. Very, very aggressive. So it's certainly going to be a nice challenge for us.
Do you expect any changes out of them with Ross being gone? Like, does that make them hard to prepare for?
Not really. I think the first couple of games. Well, a big difference would be if the coach was sacked. Then that first game, there's always going to be a massive bounce. But Ross is left, and it's just a continuation for now I've forgotten.
Coach Luciano?
Luch, bloody hell, yeah, I had it on the tip of my tongue. Yeah, for Luch. So that's just a continuation for him. So that they won't be any different, I don't think. They want to play out. They're aggressive. Goalkeeper uses the ball well. They're direct. They're dangerous in the front third. So yeah, I can't see Shane too much change. Personnel potentially, because every week you sort of have a predicted team that you're going to come up against, but there's always one or two changes.
Because we have seen Aurelio thus far this season, the new manager bounce. Your first game, you got a win. Ufuk's first game at Sydney, they hammered Adelaide, but it doesn't sound like you don't see this as the same sort of scenario, so you're not that wary of the new coach bounce.
To be honest, not really, but players are players. They're always there to prove a point. They're always there to do well. They're always stepping onto the pitch wanting to be the best player on the pitch. So we'll get a determined, aggressive Brisbane Roar coming here for sure.
Because do you reckon we've sort of seen that? Because in the aftermath of that, Jay O'Shea, he's announced his re-signing. They can certainly hang their emotion on that as, their leader. Ross is gone, but our leader's sticking around for another 2 years. We can all rally around that and keep fighting.
Yeah, I think for any club, to be honest, Joey, that, if you get a clear sign that there's some continuity, then that gives a lot of people confidence, not just the players, but also the fans. So, we know O'Shea is a very good player, very influential for that team. So, I don't see a drastic change if that's what the question is. Deep down, it's going to be a same committed Brisbane Roar who are super aggressive, who really want to take the game to you. That's what we've seen all year, and just because there's been a change in the coaching setup, that won't change because Luch has been obviously part of that setup right through pre-season and to this point.
And your own boys, Aurelio, it's now 6 games unbeaten, albeit the disappointment of those ACL draws and their obvious permutations. But you talk about continuity. It really feels like you're beginning to get some continuity yourselves, and the boys are feeling that.
Yeah, we're building for sure. We've taken some big steps from the first day that I got here. That's for sure. I still think there's an enormous amount of upside for us. And I think I keep mentioning it about once we start to get a good block of training, that's all obviously going to help because we'll be able to work on a lot more specific things. I would rather a couple less draws and an extra win. That's always a little bit better in terms of where you would be on the ladder. But the next couple of weeks for us are super important. You know, draws are not good enough for us. We need to win. You know, the more draws we have, the further away we're going to get from the top spot. I don't even know what. I don't look really, to be honest, but I think it's six points or something like that from where we are to the top spot. So again, we sort of got to get our skates on and try to get a couple of wins on the bounce. And you know, we're home tomorrow. We're home against Western United, even though it's an away game for us. So it's a good opportunity to get a couple of wins before we travel to Sydney for the Unite round.
Seen a little bit of speculation online in the last 24 hours about Japanese clubs being keen on Jamie McLaren. Is there anything in that?
Oh,
any
really?
movement there? Can you tell us anything?
I heard of it, to be honest, Shane. So go check the socials more then.
Yeah,
First I heard.
Yeah, is he right to go? You know, he's been battling that ankle injury and stuff. He'll be in the starting lineup tomorrow.
Yeah, that ankle is always improving, and at this stage everything's fine. So again, he was one of 23, 24 that we had here yesterday that trained well. So yeah, the speculation, as you said, that's the first I've heard of it. So have no idea where that's come from.
With Jamie's ankle, he discussed this a bit during the lead up to the Melbourne Derby. Is this ankle injury, Aurelio, the case that if you had Lex and Naboot 100% and able to play, you maybe would have looked to give Jamie a rest? But you know, he said that with your depth the way it is, he feels the need to play and he wants to play and help the team out. Is that sort of the case where you would rest him if you had the chance?
Not really, to be honest. So I think everyone, doesn't matter what point of the season, whether it's the first game, whether it's halfway, whether it's 3/4 of the way in the season, everyone is playing with some sort of pain. Whether it's an ankle knock, whether it's tight groins or tight hamstrings, everyone is playing with some sort of discomfort. But they just manage it. Some manage it better than others, and he's trying to manage it as best as he can. But I think since probably that ACL game, that's been a couple of weeks now, it's certainly improved. So he's in a much better position with that ankle now than he was a couple of weeks ago.
Obviously, Jamie has the leadership role now as the captain as well. What have you made of him as captain and as a leader since you arrived there at City in his first year in this full-time position? Yeah,
look, I think it's probably something that doesn't come naturally to him because he leads. His leadership is also on the pitch with performances and goals. So he's growing. It's normal. It's such a big position and such a big responsibility, and people just grow into it. And I'm sure he's learned a lot of things already in the 6 months that he's been at the captain, and he'll continue to grow. I think, to be honest, Joey, that's with everyone. Whether you're a first year player and you're learning your craft, or if you're a coach for the first year, by the time you have 3, 4, 5 years and get more experience and learn more things and understand more things, you get better. You cannot get any better. So he's going to grow into the role for sure. Sometimes that first year it's a little bit difficult, but I think he's managing it pretty well. We had a discussion when I first came here, and he was super keen with the role and he's doing a good job.